All right, guys, I got a really grainy picture, but let me know if you can hear me. I'd say that's the most important thing. Just give me like a thumbs up if you can hear me, or a thumbs down if you can't. I think down should be good because it worked before with a different software. I just want to make sure it's good. I don't know what to do about the quality. Cool, thank you so much, Graham. I'm like an old guy now. Nah, I've always needed glasses, but no. Thank you all for everyone coming by. We'll wait on some more people, obviously, but we can just get into things. Yeah, game three for me, wasn't really devastating. We've had a nice streak, and B, I think the games three and four were very interchangeable. From the beginning, I had Miami then Denver, but I don't see a difference if it goes Denver then Miami, and it kind of reestablishes this notion that the Heat are just outclassed. It took everything they had in game two to get it done, and it's basically going to take everything that they have to get it done and consistently get it done. So I don't see a dime on Miami after that beatdown. What's up, Mike and Hugo? Thank you for coming by. Pillar, Scott, I appreciate it. Everyone that's here, like I said, we should have more coming in. Thanks, Israel. Yeah, 33 is interesting, right? That's why I think it's going to 7. He's Jimmy Butler. He's 33. I think it'll go to 3-3 on the series. And I think after tonight, the talking point's going to be to keep people on the Heat. Well, just a 3-game series. This keeps people, because don't forget, they need ratings too. So it's like they can't have just people, and people already expect, yeah, okay, Nuggets are definitely winning. But I feel like Heat win. Now you got a 3-game series. And yeah, I know since 2015, I think, Scott, it was brought up that the 2-1 teams, actually, the team trailing has wound up doing better. I did not know it was Jokic's birthday, and it's weird because they haven't talked about it. If the Nuggets win, I still wouldn't be off of the Heat, only because I think we can throw basically every record, every statistic out the window as far as this finals. You look at Boston coming back from 3-0 and tying it and then losing. You look at all the things, the Heat beating the Bucks in 5. They've won, where they win 4 in a row there. I forget if they won 4 in a row, but they just did it. They've done, basically, they've set every precedent there is to set. That being said, I don't see it going 3-1. I don't think it works. I don't think it. If you look at it, whether it's real or fake, I feel like it makes sense for the Heat tonight. If it's real, I don't think, again, the most cultured team, well coached, is going to drop 2 at home. And of course, with it being fake, I don't think they're going to let that happen either. They've been quiet about Joker's birthday. I will say people don't always do great on their birthdays. It's probably 50-50. Okay, February 19th. Yeah, that's more realistic. Maybe it's the Heat guy's birthday. Who's the other one? Jovic. Maybe it's Jovic's birthday. Yeah, you said Jovic. Okay, are we looking at Jokic or Jovic? Yeah, so that's interesting. I don't love that because a lot of times on people's birthdays they don't do great. That being said, I haven't seen them going out of their way to say it's his birthday, and with their name similarity, I find that very interesting. Caleb Martin, I would say Caleb Duncan. I keep saying Kyle Lowry. People keep like forgetting about Kyle Lowry. Just a couple threes from him. Yeah, and the thing is, I don't want to say, like, it sounds ridiculously coincidental, but then they always say like, oh, that's like John over there, the name, or Joe. It's such a popular name, but to have such a Nikola Jokic and Nikola Jovic, it's pretty insane. They both wind up in the NBA. But yeah, Caleb, I think they need to establish him. Uh, they have Gabe Vincent. Don't forget, he gets like 20 points. Doesn't really. I think tonight, and here's my prediction. My biggest prediction is Kyle Murray is just going to completely lay an egg. I think Murray is going to have a horrible game. That's one of the easiest ways to describe how the Heat can win. And coming off the game he had, people are going to be slamming his props that think it's real, at least. And I don't think he's going to hold it up. I think he's going to be proven to be very hot and cold. And when you're running a 2-man show, if he's cold, then that's not good for the Nuggets. Yeah, I keep telling people I think this game. I said you're going to start it around. They're going to start it around game 2, 3, and then I figured before they went back to Denver. So this game, I think it's going to happen. we're going to see something. We're going to see an ejection, a push. Just my opinion. A couple hard fouls, a skirmish. We might see somebody, like I said, Jokic might foul out too. There's a lot of things that can happen, but I think we're going to start seeing the Murray's hand become an issue. I think the what's also going to become prevalent is the beef between these two teams. Yeah, so I actually had I wasn't happy about it, but I went ahead and oh, it's crazy. It's so I don't know if Haslam he's like the the heart and soul of that team. I like that a lot better. So it's his birthday and Jovic. That's pretty interesting. So on 6-9 day, which is also interesting. By the way, the Colorado Rockies pitcher, his ERA is 6.99 on 69 days. So I'm wondering if the Rockies win. So the tennis player, Casper Ruud, I actually picked him, and then I was really reluctant because I'm like, man, on paper, it looks like this guy should destroy the other guy. But I just picked him because I think he's a better draw to go against Djokovic. So yeah, I picked Casper, and he did well for me today. If the Rockies go over, that parlay will be very nice. I picked the Rockies to go over. I think 11.5 is just a number that people are going to normally go under, even in Colorado. So let's hope that happens. But oh, I didn't know that's cool. You went to high school with him. How was UD? Was he cool? Djokovic. So the fact that he's in the finals, it's interesting because we have to remember they're not just going to let somebody that went against their narrative beat them. So it makes me wonder. Rude got injured against Alcaraz last year in a big tournament, and now we got Djokovic is back. Is he going to pay a due before he wins something? Because he was obviously the beef is from 2021 when Joker put out Morris for the year, and then they were all kind of in Lowry, Bam, Jimmy. They were all kind of in the middle of that. But yeah, it makes me wonder if Djokovic is going to have to wait. That being said, I think I am leaning towards Djokovic to win. That's interesting with Foster. I saw they had what's a brothers ref in the game. I think it's brothers and two other guys. I do think I don't think the referees can go rogue, but what I think happens is they have referees that they know okay, this guy you're gonna be hard on Luca, you're gonna be hard on Jimmy, you're gonna be hard on this team, and it just makes it where the components are in place for them to do whatever they need to do. Yeah, a lot of people are saying they hope I'm wrong because they either have money on Denver or just because they want them to win. And I could be, like I said, for me, uh, it actually is like being the teams themselves because it's almost harder at this point if I am to be wrong, because nobody had Heat and Nuggets. Most people did have Celtics, Lakers, and I kept saying we weren't going to see that. We were going to see the Heat for sure, and the Nuggets. I liked Philadelphia, of course, before the Heat, but I think so many people just thought Lakers Celtics was obvious. All the other channels, and we've been really over the target with the Heat. So it would suck to come this far and then the Nuggets beat us. But I genuinely think we have an idea of what's going on, and now that we've been able to see the way they treat Spo and Jimmy, and just how they're treating it in general, it seems to be more. I think scripted for the Heat. I think we go 2-2. Butler's number 22, and I think we're gonna the Heat are gonna tie it up tonight. So I brought this up last year, and I think I might have been a year early. I thought Harden and Durant were going to team up, and it's looking like that might happen. And without a point guard, I'm wondering if they get Russ too, because Russ is going to be cheap now. So you'd have those three reunited, and then you could reunite Kyrie and LeBron, and you can line up Lakers versus Suns, where you have Kyrie and LeBron against Harden and Durant. That would be really interesting. Yeah, that's the thing about the media, Paul, and they're right. Like, how can you say he's not? The guy's shooting threes like Steph Curry, and he's averaging a triple double. He'd have two MVPs. He'd have a Finals and undoubtedly a Finals MVP. He'd be ahead of so many guys, and that's the narrative they're pushing. And I think that's why he's going to lose. I don't think they're going to have him flip guys like Paul Pierce and guys like Kevin Garnett, these all-time great players, this early. It's really weird to just to give somebody that. Whoever gets Harden is going to be a complete red herring. I think Scott. Yeah, I don't think any Harden's going to help any team at all. I think whoever gets Harden, it's just going to wind up being a complete red herring. Yeah, it's sports entertainment, Mike. They even said it. They legally changed their name from, or their sector from competition to sports entertainment. It was so they wouldn't get lawsuits. So they wouldn't be subject to lawsuits. Is why they did it. People argue it's for tax purposes. It makes no difference. WWE pays the same amount in taxes. The reason WWE doesn't pay taxes as many is because all their wrestlers are independent contractors. So what happens is the independent contractors, they aren't taxed the same. So they do this so they don't have to pay for their medical. That's why people say wrestlers are so mistreated. So I think the same thing with these athletes. These giant signing bonuses, I think they're just contractors. Heat in six. I think Heat in seven. I think Denver wins game five. I think if I'm right, I think it's going to be Heat Denver, and then it would be Heat win two in a row. Well, I think he played checkers. If we're assuming it's real, when he traded away Bridges, like why do you trade away a guy that's trajecting the exact same way Kawhi Leonard did to get Kevin Durant? That made no sense to me. So as stupid as that trade was by the Nets, both of those trades, they were like 2K stupid. First they get rid of Dimwitty and then they trade to get him back, and then they go ahead and they trade Durant to get a bunch of role players, and now they have no stars. It was really an interesting thing. So the trades to me is just so they can set up new storylines. It's like how wrestling has the draft. 43, interesting. That's a big number. So I like that number. I could see him winning and them saying he just became the oldest player or the first 43-year-old. I'm sure he wouldn't be the first 43-year-old, but something to that effect. And they got love too. So just with those guys, I'm wondering if they do give Haslam minutes. Don't you ever wonder that? It was like when Carmelo Anthony was on the Lakers. You guys can't tell me that Anthony was that bad that he couldn't have played 20 minutes and scored 15, 20 points. Like I know he did for like a little bit, but then he was just completely riding the bench, and it's like, okay, at this point, Haslam would be better than Zeller. It's not even a question. So I don't know why they have guys only for motivational purposes. Again, maybe it's because they want to give certain guys rings. Yeah, but the thing is, Kawhi started in the league not making his own shot. He was like the fourth option. And then what happened is, as like Paul George, a lot of players, he was a two-way player who became a leader, and that's what's going to happen with Bridges. The guy can shoot, the guy can drive. When you have good players around you, I guarantee you, Bridges is going to be the next guy they push in the club superstar. He's going to be they want a superstar on each team. He's going to be that guy for the Nets. Oh yeah, he definitely got blackballed. If he came out and said something like, "Oh, this official did this," it doesn't matter who you come out against. If you in my opinion, if you come out and say something against the league, you're going to get blackballed. That's probably why AI, Derrick Rose, all these guys that should have won at least one, didn't. What's up, Phoenix? I appreciate you coming by. If your daughter's there, tell her I said hi. I hope you guys are having a nice night. And look, I think it's going to be a fun game tonight. What's up, Arson? Thanks again, man, for everything. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, Chris Paul. Remember last year when he turned 37 or 38, and they literally made him just terrible almost every game after he turned 38. It was pretty interesting. I'm wondering if they'll try the same with LeBron. What's up, Trey? I'm always glad to see you can make it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I got a couple like knock. So I can only get certain shirts because I have autism. So like a lot of my for me like just a shirt that doesn't agree with me and my whole freaking chest will turn red. It's just very irritant. So I always have to get like very specific lining. I think wherever Chris Paul goes again, it's going to be a red herring. Everyone's going to assume, oh, now they got Chris Paul. They're not. Same with Dame. If Dame leaves Portland, I don't think that team's going to do very well. And I'm one of Dame's biggest supporters. I just think he would do better if he stayed with Portland. Again, real or fake, that team's got killer depth. They got three guys who could put up 40 a night, and all they need to do is get a guy like Bridges, a great defender who can play two ways. And you can't tell me that Blazers team wouldn't look lethal. Yeah, so I noticed that the other day. I'm like the Golden Knights and the Nuggets, so it could mean either way, right? It could mean if they lose, it could mean the gold standards collapsing, or if they win, it could mean gold's replacing the dollar. I'm personally into crypto, so for me, I feel like they're both. Uh, I'm indifferent to both. I get more precious metals though than I do. I believe in them more than I do the dollar. I have a feeling this will be the game the Heat would blow out the Nuggets. So if you're into alternate lines, this would be the game I would definitely take it. I thought about the West East thing. I think a couple years in a row they might give it to a certain conference, but yeah, next year, uh, I don't think it's going to Braun next year. I think Braun's going to win in 2 years with his son. That's just my opinion. Yeah, I like the. I don't know if they'll be down 10, but I like the Heat to uh, win by 10 or more. I don't know why. Yeah, the number zero. You got Dame, you got Russ, you got who's the third? You got Gilbert Arenas. There's way more, but it's going to be interesting if a number zero. I think another guy brought up to me that there's never been um, a black guy that wore number one. That's one. That was a big part of the reason that they told me that they thought the Eagles weren't going to win. I found that interesting too because there's been a lot of number ones if you think about it. Yeah, the Pride Month. It's annoying, again, not to bring up autism too much, but April's Autism Awareness Month, which needs desperate awareness, gets completely overlooked. They were like indicting Trump, so like that took priority. And then they did Mental Healthness Awareness Month. They're talking about OCD, ADHD, which again I understand that there's stigmas, but they just completely skip autism. And now we're at Pride Month, and it's just like goodness, you could just tell it's only to appeal to people. If they genuinely cared, one of these years. Last year they put it on. They made it Women Domestic Abuse Month on Autism Awareness Month, and it falls on April Fool's Day. So it's like I think they're making a joke of the autism awareness at this point. But yeah, I found that interesting. Yeah, I remember the Denver. I think at some point the Heat did too. They were all wearing the pride, which is fine. Yeah, it's pretty conservative now, but it's still one of the more liberal of conservative. Believe it or not, Miami actually went red. Miami Dade did at least, but yeah, there's still you still have a lot of liberal pockets and all through the world. And honestly, to me, it's not even about politics. The pride. I just think it's virtue signaling, whatever it's for. Whether it's for freaking straight pride, gay pride, trans pride. I just think whenever it's being unveiled, it's virtue signaling. You could see when it's not done in good taste, in my opinion. And again, maybe as someone with autism, I notice it because I'm like, okay, in April, where is the same energy? And you can see that it's just probably because you don't have the same money to be made, you don't have the same votes to be had. So it would be interesting about Butler is if he won. So he won the Larry Bird Trophy in Boston. So like what a slap in the face to Bill, and that's why I feel Bill Russell, of course, and that's why I feel like he's just going to win it all. Yeah, the original rainbow. Yeah, it represents the seven. Well, there's more than seven, but it represents the chakras. I'm big in the chakras. I actually, it's people think it's like voodoo, but it's not. It's like having a underactive or overactive solar plexus, which is your stomach chakra, is the same thing as having, a gastritis, a stomach ache, or a stomach inflammation. It's just worded, and they want to make one sound kooky because it's easier to fix. If you realize tea, cannabis, healthy lifestyle will really do that for you. Yeah, I think Silver's doing business with everybody. I think the owners collectively come together, and the players. I mean, look at these new contracts, and they essentially make whatever they need to happen happen. Which Michael Jackson? So we had the white Michael Jackson and we had the black. I get Jesus a lot. I get depending on how my hair is styled. I used to get Weird Al. Never got Michael Jackson. I got to be honest. That one I would always take as a compliment. Uh, yeah, I think Heat are going to win in a blowout. And what's up, Dan? It's always good to see you, man. And the Trump indictment, I think it's just news. Uh, uh, Again, like or hate the guy, they had like 7, 8 years. Walter White, I would much prefer Steve Austin, but that's fine. I'll take Walter White. Austin had those beady blue eyes. I think 7, 8 years they went after this guy and they couldn't get him for an illegal parking ticket. So I just if someone's rooting for a Trump indictment, I don't think it's going to happen. But you never know. You really never know. He got indicted. I mean, if as far as being found guilty, if we're being fair and we compare the things that they've gone after Donald Trump for to the things that other people have done, I've done worse freaking things than this guy. Like we'd all be hypocrites to say this guy is the worst guy ever. Like I'm like, gosh, like they're going after him for this on his taxes. Shit, I didn't pay taxes 1 year. Like it's just like weird, it's just weird, And I got audited for like 3 years after that, and I had, it got taken out of my next return. But it's like, gosh, they wouldn't like hold me to a criminal standard, but because of who he is, I really feel like that, man. Just regular things are being considered these ridiculous offenses. And I'm not saying the guy's perfect. Yeah, there's the argument. Bill Gates. This guy is wanted in at least two continents for genocide, whether it was on purpose or not. You can take that up with the African and the Indian governments. So in Asia and in Africa, this man is wanted. I guess you could say three continents. I don't know uh, where his standing is in Europe, but at least two. And yeah, Trump got 4 or 5 Nobel Peace Prize nominations, not talked about. He won the 1986 Ellis Island of Freedom, where he marched with Cassius Clay and Rosa Parks. And these things people just don't remember. So I try and take that into account. Yeah, I remember the Lakers. Someone said Lakers or Boston weren't going to win again. It's funny. Ric Flair has 16 world championships. Like I said many times, I think wrestling ties in with sports. Yeah, I think Butler might. I think I think game 6 and 7, Garrett, he'll go crazy. That's just what I think. And yeah, ballers. Like I said, I don't really try and pick a side. I just try and look at what's logical, and I try and hold everybody to the same standard. And I feel like the guy is held to such a crazy standard. He does 2 hour rallies all the time, and they'll take two little snippets. And I respect the fact that he wants to debate everybody openly, whereas the other people don't want to debate him. Rightfully so. The guy can debate, and even if you say he lies, whatever the case may be, you know, to me, somebody that's saying, "Hey, I want to debate you," uh, there's freestyle, and the other person has all these criterions that need to be met. I do respect that. That is interesting. Silver, gold. So yeah, again, what does that mean, right? Like it's. I don't think the names are a coincidence. I know the Nuggets had a guy named Bones who they traded away, and they obviously have a Skull and Bones logo. So I found that interesting. Yeah, Bird, he could be sick. They don't want to talk about it. It could be a lot of things. Yeah, Jimmy and the commercials kind of reminds me of the State Farm ones with now Chris Paul did them, but we had Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes do them. Yeah, I was okay, cool. Yeah, Graham, I agree. Kind of reminds me of the year last year when it was all Mahomes. Speaking of Chiefs, I have a feeling. I know it sounds nuts. I have a feeling they might miss the playoffs this year. It's reminding me of when Brady was starting to get going, and then he lost in like 2002. He didn't make the playoffs, so it was one of those years in the middle. Might have been 2003. The year he didn't win the Super Bowl, the Jets made the playoffs. I could see the Broncos getting in or Chargers ahead of Chiefs. There's going to be so much money on them. Yeah, I remember the 46, and people were saying 5-6 because of the king coronation. I think he'll probably finish with one more ring. I think he'll get it with his son. I couldn't find I didn't look at too much into the Sheik. I know he hated Hogan. Hogan's from Florida, so I mean there's that. But I mean no, I don't know too much about the Sheik. I know he is one of the greatest heels of all time. I have him top five up there with Triple H, Roddy Piper, Vince McMahon, and you can throw in a fifth. There's a lot of great heels. Maybe Ted DiBiase, but uh, well Andre when he had his run. But yeah, I don't know too much about the Sheik. I'd have to look into it. Yeah, I think they plan them ahead of time, Gene, and I think it's almost like they use like a Fibonacci sequence or pi or some kind of proven mathematical continuum that always holds true. That way they can continue these numbers and they always are perfect. That would also explain gematria. So again, I believe in gematria. I just don't believe it's I believe it's also double coded. I don't know what Joker is. If I had a guess, like gun to head, human, robot, alien, or hitman, I'd go robot. He just reminds me of a robot. I had I had the Niners last year, actually. Yeah, that would make sense. Dallas and yeah, silver and gold. I had the Niners winning it because of the Jimmy G comeback story that I'm probably not, that I'm probably going to still double down on and like the Raiders because of just the way they treat Jimmy. I don't think, and it's funny, both their names are Jimmy. and they're both Jimmy G. But I just think Jimmy G's not done. Yeah, leaning under because I think if anything, it'll be a sloppy game. If the Heat win big, it'll probably be one of those, 105 to 93 type games, maybe something of that effect. So I'll say 105-93 just to see how wrong I could be. Oh, thanks you. I appreciate it, VFX. Yeah, I just try and be honest. I'm a lifelong wrestling fan, so there's narratives that I think that they plant, and also with the weird Vegas line, are the Nuggets less of a favorite than last game when they just pummeled the Heat? It doesn't make sense in my opinion, unless Vegas knows something. I don't think anyone can see it off the hazy. That's what makes it so interesting, and they're treating them differently than a lot of your other Cinderella teams. And I think, and now they're kind of like concretely a Cinderella team because it's not like you can just say, "Oh well, Galska sucked." Well, okay, with these guys you can because they're undrafted, so they have that designation where you can actually say an undrafted team beat a two-time runner MVP, etc. What's up, patron? I hope you can. I hope you do well. I got a parlay going. I got the Rockies going over, and I got the Heat, so I'm hoping they do well for me. Yeah, the Madden curse is real for sure. So yeah, you have to understand like when they shut people down, it's never good. But I don't know if they've shut him down yet. So we'll have to see. Again, if it becomes a 3-game series, he definitely could play games 6 and 7, and that could definitely turn it. Yeah, 13. Yeah, and if there's going to be a team that comes back, it would be this Heat team, in my opinion. And no problem, Patreon. Thank you for all you guys do. Again, if you guys weren't here showing love, sharing insight, I'm just sitting here talking to myself. So, it's the truth. I know I always say it, but it really is the truth. Lance might get the redemption story. I don't know if the he's that people are behind him yet. I don't know why. I feel like Jimmy G is just like a celebrity. Brewers and Marlins. Marlins have been looking good this year. They got a guy batting like what 400 is insane. What's up, Mickey? I'm glad you're able to make it. Yeah, I probably got Miami in week 1. I think they're going to really give all of those quarterbacks a push. Which again, another theory I have. They're really saying Mac sucks and the other 3 quarterbacks are great in the AFC East. I'm wondering if Mac actually wins the division. Yankees, yeah, they might. Astros got a lot of love. I think they might be done now for a bit. I think they only won that championship so that black eye of the asterisk, would go away. Now they want a clean one. I like Miami, yeah, with a healthy Tua. They're gonna. We predicted his injury, by the way. We said they were talking about it. I'm like, I think he's gonna have. They're gonna say he has a head injury. If you watch that injury, he slams his own helmet into the turf. Not sure about Jimmy. I think the team goes off. I think they shoot like 45% from threes. I think it's going to be more of an issue of Murray playing like garbage. And this might age terribly. I just think Murray's going to have a terrible game. Not soccer, no. A, I don't have the patience, and B, I don't know anything about it. I did tennis today, and Rude helped me out a lot. So that was nice. Yeah, I think they're going to win, Ralph. I think they're going to win. Giannis, I don't know why you could hate him. I mean, I could see him being overhyped and stuff, but I haven't seen any hateable qualities. Yeah, he'll get another one. They don't like three's the big one, so I think he'll get another one. It just might be a bit because you got Boston; they're going to get one soon. I think before he hangs it up, though, he gets 2, maybe 3. A lot of people are like Jacksonville. I see that. I like Niners in the NFC. I really like the Niners. This year they took a lot of money. I think next year, well, this coming year, they could be their year. I think Rodgers is a red herring. Joe Burrow could be the guy, but it's going to be 2 guys. Don't forget, it's going to be Pat and either Josh Allen or Burrow or Hurts. It's got to be somebody. Oh, I'm not sure. Sometimes if it's on like an auto bot, then messages won't all show up. In the recap, I'll see messages from people that I did not see. I don't know why. So it could be a setting. But yeah, if that's happening, I could check afterwards. It'll be a lot easier. Yeah, props. I like Bam to go over on rebounds. I like Jimmy to go over on assist. Uh, I think Jimmy goes over on points. I like Struce over on points. I like Jimmy over on. I think Jimmy gets like 2 or 3 steals. I think Murray goes under on everything outside of turnovers. And There's no one else. Lowry, I like him to get like more. Probably he's probably supposed to get like 8. I think he'll probably go over. Giannis might get one more. I think he might get one more. I don't know. Yeah, Murray. I think they're pro. Like I think everyone's expecting him to go nuts, and that's why I'm not sure if he will. To be honest. Yeah, I'm going to be doing the NFL really soon too. So I didn't want to do it in the middle of the NBA just because I figured we would. I like to try and pay as much attention as I can. But yeah, we're going to do an NFL. I already have a lot of my predictions made out. Yeah, you would think the Commanders would, almost as like a okay, we got rid of the owner, now we want something in return. Browns could do something. I like Niners a lot more than the other teams in there. Dolphins were one I was thinking of because they have everything you'd really want, and they're really pushing this Florida team narrative. And it's not a narrative. You probably have people move into the state at what we do at such a high rate that what better than to make the sports teams appealing. Yeah, Browns are usually beat the teams they shouldn't in the first week. Bengals, and historically the Steelers, but the Steelers are a crappy team now. Ravens, I think they get off to a slow start, but then maybe get it going. I haven't looked into the week ones yet, to be honest. Michael Porter, yeah, see, that's what I think. I think Murray struggles, and Michael Porter is going to go nuts. That's just what I think. Jimmy Butler of the NFL, just because they have the same name, I'm going to say Jimmy G. They call him both Jimmy G. They're both kind of treated like calm, cool celebrities. So yeah, I'll go with Jimmy Garoppolo as the Jimmy of the NFL, and he was like Brady's assistant, right? So it's kind of interesting. I agree, Andy. I think the Heat win. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna do every week. I'll be doing it, but I'm gonna do beforehand. Obviously, I'm gonna go into who I think is gonna win the Super Bowl, MVPs, things of that nature. Red herring teams, the teams that I think are gonna come out of nowhere and do really good, and then just division winners, common themes, and all that stuff. Well, he's letting the ball loose, yeah. So like, it's got to start falling. So I'm a little worried about that, to be honest. Yeah, Vincent is either of them is a good choice. They have good value, and Vincent is I think a little more likely just because the way I mean Jokic probably wins the jump ball, so you got to hope that the Nuggets miss. But I think he's likely because Jimmy doesn't really start with the ball in his hand. So Vincent for like an elbow jumper, I could certainly see. Yeah, the new stadium is a lot of times when teams really start doing really good. Yeah, you can make that argument for anybody. There's so many players that out of nowhere they just start playing good. Whether it's because that's when they sell their soul, whether it's I don't know exactly what it is, but there's no way these guys are just barely good enough to play, and then all of a sudden they're top players who can't be stopped. Well, if the Heat lose tonight, then I think less people watch Game Five, and I think the public gets paid out big time because it's the best odds the Nuggets have been getting and have gotten in probably like the last 7 games. Against the Lakers, there's a couple games they got decent odds, but I just almost even odds against the team they just pummeled. I think it makes sense. I don't know. I think the Suns they might just be there to kind of again as I keep saying red herring, but they got rid of Monty, so maybe they went without him. I mean, they've done stuff like that before, but I just feel like Clippers, Mavericks. I think those teams make more sense out of the West. Yeah, I mean, he might score again, but I try and use the same logic. He's probably not going to be the first scorer of both games. Michael Porter might have the value if he just hits a three to start the game off. Yeah, it's funny. Mahomes, people kept talking about how Tom was going to win last year, and he would have been 8-3 or something like that, or eight. It would his birthday would have matched up with his Super Bowls, whatever it was. And then afterwards, I noticed that Mahomes, who's the new Brady, is .666 in the Super Bowl now. Yeah, I thought Bryce to the Panthers was a really weird pick, uh, and I think it's probably just so you got some now you got Carr down there, so it should be interesting. But yeah, I think he might have a year or two to work the kinks out. I don't think they're going to have him start off crazy. They might do that with Richardson because he has all that hype. Yeah, Heat coming back from 3-1 would be hard to believe because they've established them as outclassed. So if you're like Boston was believable, and that's why I had it happening was because you could see them winning three in a row. The Heat, you really can't, even though they did. So I agree. I think 2-2 makes much more sense. Fire, I have much less conviction in the Panthers than I do the Heat, but I don't think it's impossible. Like I have them winning game four to tie it up. I know it seems like they're just copying each other, but it wouldn't. It's not like they're exactly subtle. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that about. I knew he was 35, but that's a lot with KD. 35 does come up a lot. It seems like that's one of those numbers that comes up all the time. 314, 35, 43. Suns. Next year, I probably got the Mavs. A year 77. I think 77 does it. Yeah, I like the Mavs too. Double P. What's up, Dave? I'm glad you can make it, man. I'm always glad to see you, and I hope you're having a good night. Yeah, they got Aiton, but I don't think he's much of a center. Yeah, yeah, he's for, and apparently, Nikola Jovic is also celebrating a birthday today. Suns or LA, it could be. I like the Clippers or the Mavs. I don't know why. And I wouldn't rule out a team from the East winning again if the Heat win this year. Again, that they don't always go back and forth. But again, we have to see what the rosters look like and all that. Knights in seven, definitely a possibility. I don't have as much conviction in hockey as I do in football or in baseball or freaking mixing up all my sports. Basketball. I was looking at my Rays score. All right, so who replaces Shannon? I don't think they break up first things first. How about they're probably going to want to keep it the same? I think they might just go ahead and do Stephen A and break up Stephen because Stephen A is kind of doing his own thing anyway. And Skip and Stephen A had a little bit of a dispute a little bit ago. I could see them rekindling that. The other guys like Chris Broussard, Wilds, and Nick, they get along way too good together. You can't break them up. Max Kellerman's just very annoying. Him and Skip would not balance well at all. Maybe you bring in like JJ Reddick. Maybe that works. Reddick and Skip or something. I don't know. They might just shut the show down and let the first things first guys take over. 78th. Yeah, it's weird though because last year they kept talking about how it was the 75th for Steph. So like they weren't counting 2020. So now all of a sudden they are. I just find it really weird. No MVP for Luca. He's definitely getting one, especially because of the international appeal. I don't know if he's going to get it this year, but he's definitely going to get one. He probably, arguably, should have had one by now. It's weird that he hasn't even been top three. I don't think with the numbers he's put up. Yeah, Clippers are a big failure. You have to remember though, they're the second most popular team in their city, so and probably third in their state. So they're going to get a lot of stuff that doesn't go their way. Yeah, the Sonics. I remember that like, them getting KD kind of coincided. I found that interesting. Somebody wanted me to go into that too. Those Sonics. That would be interesting. I like those teams next year. Double P. Sixers. I have to see what they do. I think they might go back to being a basement dweller. What's up, Hutch? It's good to see you, man. I didn't. I haven't seen you in the Discord, so I hope you've been doing good. Yeah, Nick Wright's my favorite. I think he's hilarious. He talks about the basketball gods, and when he's right, he's hilarious to listen to. So I think he's and he's right a lot too. So it's interesting. Well, that's what I'm thinking, Jake. That's why I'm not sure if the Clippers are going to be winning one anytime soon. I think the drafts are predetermined. I still don't think they would have won a championship with Luca. I don't. I think everything's predetermined. You don't like first things first? They're hilarious, man. I love their banter. I think the way they get along, Wilds, Broussard, and they just balance each other as a wrestling fan. So like I like listening to the announcers bicker when I watch wrestling, and these guys always do that. So I like them. That's what I'm thinking. Like if you notice, Stephen A. own podcast. Skip even has his own podcast. They all have Nick Wright has his own podcast. They understand they're not getting the ratings. So they got YouTube TV and now they got their podcast. Yeah, they all do that a lot with 40 points. They'll say it's unrealistic or pick a realistic number, things of that nature. Could be an indicator. Maybe not next year. I got LeBron in 2 years, though. So I feel like Luca's got to win it pretty soon. Yeah, I got Casper today. Probably go live. I just like to go out ahead of time. The problem is if he'd take an early lead, then you're not going to get the odds you were. So it's really tough to call that. That's why I always do it ahead of time. I could see them trading Embiid and completely rebuilding. With the Knicks, Celtics already having pretty stacked teams, I could see that happening. Maybe he goes to Toronto and plays for his home country. I hear that, or yeah, I hear they've been wanting to rebuild the Raptors. Yeah, the drafts are scripted. They have to be. Ja, I think they're just kind of creating a story around him to make him appeal to. I don't know, just to look cooler or something. Not that people think it's cool, but there are people who do. They keep comparing him to AI, who happened to be actually part of the gang life, and now all of a sudden he's getting into crime, issues with guns and things of that nature. I heard recently he said it was a toy, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I think they're just trying to make them like AI. They're trying to like wrestling. Hogan goes, we got Cena. And they do it. They do it with almost everybody. That's what I think they're doing with Ja. I don't think these issues just came out of nowhere. They definitely would have known about these issues before they happened, and they're dating back years apparently. I think Harden stays away from the Suns. I think that's all chatter for now. Yeah, he's kind of like a villain, but the problem is he's like kind of hard to hate. Just the way like they're making him. I'd say Brooks is still more hated than Ja. Now they might be pushing these two. If you remember, Steph and Clay were hated in the beginning, so they might be doing something of that nature. Skip Bayless versus Jake Paul. Could you imagine? Jake Paul, he lost me some money. I had him beating Fury. I didn't think they'd ruin the undefeated streak, but they did. Yeah, Steven and Shannon, and they disagree on a lot of takes too. And Steven's very calm. He'll get passion. He'll get very passionate, but he's calm, and so is Shannon. So I feel like Steven could be calm, and Shannon's getting passionate, and then they could flip. Those two could definitely have a good chemistry together. Yeah, I think that's what it is, Scott. I think they're trying to make him like this crazy gangster, and he's just not. No, I don't think it's believable. Yeah, yeah, he could go to Boston. It makes sense. I don't think Dame's going to Boston. That makes no sense to me at all. But I could see Paul going there, and it makes more sense because then everyone put their money on him. Yeah, see, Rude, I didn't like because he was going up against the number 22 ranked, and I'm like, everyone's going to take Rude. It looks like, but then I looked at the two, and I'm like, this guy looks like he just got off a 3-day bender. The guy that Rude beat, Zeverov or whatever, Verazov. Like he looked like the sun was blinding him. Like he looks like me when I wake up in the morning and go outside. So I'm like, this guy's not ready. Like, so I just pounded Rude, and he wound up going. He wound up doing it. Like I got him like a minute before the match started, and he just looked ready. He was coming out the champions music, whereas the other guy just looked like he just didn't want to be there. Oh, nice Pizza Hut. I not a giant fan of Pizza Hut, but if I do get them, I get the stuffed crust. I got the same thing, Phoenix. I got over, and I went with the Rockies to win because points. Their pitchers ERA is 0.69, and it's 69 day. So I'm like, you know what? That's too coincidental for me. I'm going with that and the over. Public's got to be on the Nuggets. Yeah, I think so, Don. I think so too. I think he stays there and gets a deep playoff run. I still have him getting a finals appearance. He might be like Russ. We talked about the jersey being cursed, but we'll have to see what happens. I think he could get one. He might be the first zero to get one. I think Luca's already kind of being established as the face. The crazy numbers that Joker is putting up, still people aren't looking at him like, oh man, this guy is the next this, the next that. Whereas people look at Luca and they're like, he's doing LeBron things, he's doing Magic things. He gets the bird comparisons. So I think it's Luca. Dame to Phoenix, yeah. I mean, now you got three ball hogs. I don't see how that makes any sense. That's what they have in Portland, and it's not working. So I don't think that would work. Yeah, Chris Paul is definitely out of Phoenix. It's just a matter of where he goes. I think by soon, I think like within 3 years, the Celtics win a title. I don't think they're going to make Tatum and it depends on if they keep Brown. I think they are going to keep him go that long without getting one. No, I think they keep Jalen Brown. I think you need to have teams with good wing players, and they definitely have it. Yeah, see, 50-50 seems crazy to me. Is that from like Vegas Insider? I'm just curious because I just can't imagine people are on Miami after that shellacking. Yeah, Russ, KD, Kyrie, LeBron. I don't think they ever hated each other that much. They might have for a bit, but again, I think they're all told what to say. Yeah, well, so international guys taking Miami by storm, Bill. So hopefully it's. I'm not reading into that too much. I think Luca's going to stay, and they're going to bring over guys that will complement him versus him leaving. Yeah, I agree. I think the Bills. They play in week one. See. I have to see the week one spreads. Yeah, that could be it. Maybe Fury wanted more money than the other guys or something, or whatever the case was, because it's just, in my opinion, it was crazy he won the fights he did, even if it was washed up UFC guys. Yeah, Chris Paul, maybe Dame, Westbrook, maybe they were never meant to, and that's why they're great facilitators. They can make people believe they can win. Yeah, a lot of people like the Reds tonight. They think the Cardinals is a trap. It did look like one to me, but I haven't looked too much into it. Next year, it's really tough to tell without knowing the rosters. Off the top of my head, I'll say like Mavs, Knicks, but that's just literally off the top of my head. I think it's going to be something a lot different, to be honest. Yeah, well, they like players who can shoot, and they're not exactly flashy. But some of these European players, they make some. Look at Lucas highlight reel; it's insane. So now it's a different style, and I think and the same. We're bringing football over to to Europe where they're used to like a slower pace. So I think it's a mutual deal, and that's why our international stars are going to look insane. Yeah, Tatum might win like a year or two after LeBron leaves, but don't forget, uh, Tatum's been there for a while. So I don't know if they're going to make him wait. As I mean, they made Jimmy wait, so I mean, you never know. But I have a feeling the way they're saying he's like a top five player in the league, I think he'll get one. Yeah, Chris Paul, he's like the smartest guy ever, but somehow finds the stupidest ways to blow games. Jake, I hope they're doing well so far because somebody told me to take the Rays and I listened to them. I just really liked the pick when they said it, the way they explained it. So I haven't had a chance to check the score yet. Yeah, they started at what 6:45, I think, or something. So I'm guessing that they're not getting creamed, or you guys would be telling me. Yeah, well, again, they go up, they compare Luca to Theo Pinson, Nick Wright. That's when I first got onto him. He was just hilarious. He said the basketball gods were going to smite down the Suns, and sure enough, Luca goes nuts for game 6 and 7. And I think that's what Butler's going to do in game 6 and 7. And Nick Wright used the basketball gods as the reason the Heat were going to win. Nice. How much are they up by? Is it like 2-0, or is it looking like they're going to pound them? Because I just seem to, whatever I pick, I swear, like it's never safe. I'm guessing you mean Novak, but or maybe it's Victor in his native tongue. I don't know. No, I don't think it will. I could see them showing the two Serbian guys, but I think either way they can do that. So I mean, you what I didn't like was the guy that Rude he beat a Heat fan today. So I didn't love that. That was the thing I didn't like. Oh, 4-1, nice. That's nice to see. Usually the Rays, they've been doing this for years. When they're up, they just seem to pitch those routine, you know, they win 4-1, 5-2 type thing. So I'm hoping they do that. I don't think Dame's leaving anywhere, to be honest. Bet in Canada. Oh yeah, I'll have to look into that. Yeah, well they're gonna have Embiid, aren't they? And other guys. I'm sure it's not just Embiid. I'm wondering about the Patriots. Do they win the division? They're saying, oh, who's the best of the three quarterbacks? You got Josh, you got Tua, and you got Aaron. How funny if Mac Jones wins it. Yeah, Jags. We predicted them coming back in live time. Uh, I put out a video. It was 30-14, and I'm like, okay, Chargers just settled twice. They got sacked out of field goal range. The Jags are coming back. Not only did they come back, but after the game, Lawrence is like, yeah, we just, what a perfect script. So this year for World Series, I liked the Guardians beginning the year. I liked Guardians, like maybe Guardians Padres, something like that. As we stand, and Hutch brought this up as a possible team. I'm liking the Rangers. I like the Rangers. I think the Angels are complete red herrings. I think the Yankees are red herrings. Uh, Braves. I'll say Rangers. Braves is who I like. I think they've been kind of knocking on that door too. So there's a theory about Derek Rose that he basically wouldn't cohere to what they wanted him to, and that's why he got these quote injuries. And that would make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, last year, this year, almost every year. I think when they do win it all, they probably won't have Judge. Although if they just locked him down, then they probably will. So I just think they're going to have a different team, or I feel like they probably would have done it already. Yeah, Hopkins, he might suddenly start playing like his old self. I don't think he's as bad as he was on the Cardinals. I have not seen the lawsuit. Is it to do with gambling or something? So Zion is the biggest reason I subscribe to the magnet theory. This guy was shooting balls that were like feet short of the rim, and then they're just picking up like screwballs, and I'm like, what the heck is this? So I found that interesting. But yeah, I think it's scripted. I think when they want him to do good, he'll do good, and not a moment sooner. Maybe in 2028 CWE they win the 28th. Although with years, it seems like that never lines up. So like 76, I had the Sixers winning this year. So you see how that got us. Yeah, I think they're going to win a lot of money if they have a. It sounds like they probably have a case, and they could probably, in my opinion, they have specific rights to gambling that others can't infringe on. Yeah, yeah, it would have been nice. I think the Steelers are going to be done for a while. They had a nice run, and probably better than anyone expected. So I think they might be done for a while. Just my opinion. What's up, Justin? It's good to see you. Rude pissed you off. Yeah, I didn't think about that honestly. I just saw that the German guy was a Heat fan, and I'm like, oh man, if he loses, maybe this doesn't bode well for the Heat. So I wasn't sure, but I mean, I don't know. I can read into a lot of things very easily if I want. Oh yeah, I forgot the SGA. He's another one. They reminded me of the Thunder years ago. He's reminded me of Russ in the beginning. So I'm wondering if they're gonna bring in some talent. And they got Chet. Don't forget. Now I think it's ridiculous. Chet is like a Big Mac lighter than Steph Curry, but and he's 7 foot tall. But they'll find a way to make him look good. Yeah, I remember that indie game. Oh yeah, we predicted that too, didn't we? It wasn't at 36, 33 or something. Yeah, I feel like they're pretty close to the WWE, but I agree. It's not 100% like the WWE until we have announcers taking sides. That'll be pretty fun to watch. Like it's an obvious foul, and the guy's like, "Oh no, he was just messing around." Like, because that banter honestly makes it entertaining. They might as well do that. What's up, Scratch? It's good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Some people think it's boring. A lot of people like it. They like the David versus Goliath. That's why I think it makes much more sense for the Heat to win tonight. Yeah, but at least Bi. So KD was 230, or I'm sorry, he was around 200. Now he's 230. Chet is 180. Like, and he's like 3 inches taller. To me, it's just insane. I don't understand how they're pitching this guy as a center. I don't know who Sam Howell is, to be honest. I uh, I have to really look into. I'm guessing he's a new prospect. Yeah, those are the most obvious scratch because you could just see the court. They're right outside of field goal range, and you could just see, okay, they're going to get sacked, and then they'll miss the field goal, and it's a way to waste time, kill the over, and then also explain why a good team can not win. They could just run down the field and take two convenient sacks. So people look for the obvious interceptions. I look for sacks because quarterbacks have to know when not to take sacks. He could be like, yeah, I think he's really overhyped, Holmgren, to be honest. I do. I switched to crypto for that reason. There's a lot of rigging that goes on in crypto, but at least uh, I've done better with it, to be honest, with NFTs, crypto, than I ever could do with stocks. There's a couple stocks I did good with though. I think he has a good game. I think it's going seven, so I think game 6 and 7 he goes absolutely insane. And I agree. I do think the rant guy. I do think that the Heat are going to win. Yeah, I'll have to keep my eye on Sam Howell. Oh yeah, that's the whole job stunt. You know, they want to go back and forth essentially, like to make people believe in both sides. Yeah, Chet needs to put on 30 pounds, even if it's straight fat. Victor, I think his career is going to be different than anybody's. I think they're trying to establish all these. I think he's going to be like Wilt, honestly, because the dude is so lanky and he's just such a menace. He's 7'5", I think. There's really nobody that's been like that. So it might be like a Joker situation where he's doing something we've never seen. Yeah, and Dave, I don't know if you remember, we called that live. It was like it was just because of the way they were playing. It seemed obvious, and sure enough, it happened. That's a good point. He's been steadily doing better each game, and I think next thing you know, he's going to put up 40, like in game 5 or 6. Tonight, I think he'll probably do 25, 30. Yeah, OKC is small market, but they definitely would have won I think, in a non-scripted league. With the guys they had, they could have got one in. Oh yeah, so that's not a shocker with Amanda Nunez, and that probably makes it even more likely she's definitely winning. I can't imagine them having her lose in Pride Month. That's another thing. Yeah, he's got Greg Popovich too. So like, if he gets developed poorly, then Greg looks like a complete, not so great to end his career. So I think Wemby has an amazing year. Big fan of WWE. It's never random. It's Roman, and I love Seth, and I think they're forcing this bloodline thing down our throats. But I brought it up with a few people. Roman is making it work with the best he can, and he the bloodline's got some amazing feuds. The issue is, they're just basically it took 8 years to get Roman over, so now they're spending another, it might be eight, to keep him champ, so people realize, oh, he's the greatest, and he doesn't really need it. And now it just weakens Seth by winning that championship. It's like, okay, nobody could win the belt, so we just made this other belt. So I think it diminishes Seth, but he'll pull it off. But Roman's the only champion I see right now in WWE. And KO and Sammy are doing a good job at the tag team championships. Rhea too. And Gunther's doing good, but they're just not giving him enough, in my opinion. Spurs, Pacers. You could say Kings for a while could have. There's a lot of teams that should have. Rockets, they just for whatever reason there was always another team. Yeah, if Victor doesn't put on weight, he could have a problem. But when you're that lanky and tall, like Yao made it work, and Victor's more athletic than him. Oh, good job, Dave. I'm glad. Yeah, I remember you. Okay, yeah, I remember a lot of people did good on that one. To me, it was just obvious, and that's what I'm looking forward to this year because we can make some nice comebacks. We predicted a draw one week too. We just didn't know which team was going to draw. Yeah, they're not going to win as long as Jerry's there. And I'm not saying Bronny's going to succeed, but I do think he'll win one with his dad, and then he'll probably have a horrible career. So you guys find it interesting that Michael Jordan hasn't had a winning season since he retired? That can't be a coincidence. A guy as competitive as him could have put together a winning squad. It's like the only reason he hasn't is because they have to punish him. You were the best player to ever do it, so now you're going to be embarrassed every time. You look, and same thing with Larry Bird. His Pacers haven't done too good. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, my baseball is the over unders have been destroying me. Like it's insane how it just streaks, But I've never had a streak like this with over unders. It's just everything I pick the opposite happens. I pick over 9. It'll be like 4-4 in the well that can't happen. It'll be like 5-3 in the first inning, and it'll end that way. So this has been a crazy rut as far as over unders. But yeah, with the certain picks and stuff, I think baseball, like hockey, can be very profitable. Yeah, he's kind of reminded me of Lamar Ball. LeBron is, to be honest, the way he's just typing up his sons. Oh, I didn't know that about Jordan's dad, but I know he was killed. I'm almost positive he was killed because of Jordan's gambling debts. So to me, that's just further reassurance. So what's WWE telling us about this series? If I'm being biased, Jimmy might become the new tribal chief, right? That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Uh, because I do think he's going to wind up beating Roman. Maybe not for the belt, but he'll beat him in a match. And then we got Jimmy, obviously, in the NBA. Well, yeah, he's already succeeded by that measure, but is he going to be like the Jordan sons, right? Where because of his dad, there's an old saying, you guys probably know it. This sins of the sons, or it's just the sins of the fathers falls upon the sons. Yeah, just watch Cody Rhodes Hell in a Cell to see which one's more real. Wrestling, in my opinion, is more real at this point than the NFL. Then watch Mahomes' ridiculous ankle injury where he's sprinting down the field, no selling it. That's a possibility, David. But I can say that, most people said the Celtics were going to win. I said it was rigged for the Heat. Most people said the Lakers were going to win. I said it was rigged for the Nuggets. So I'm not saying I'm definitely right, but I do think that there's 100% like between the hot and cold play, between the players coming out and admitting it, between the teams that just win when they should lose and lose when they should win. Kyrie going to the Mavs and them getting worse. I think people should see there's something going on. I don't think they're going to win every game. I really don't. I still got the Heat, but that's just me. Yeah, I didn't get that either, Double P. But to be fair, Taker wanted Roman to be the guy to do it. So I guess in his mind, he's like, well, now he'll be the last guy. And because he's like, Brock doesn't need it. Roman could really use it. So Taker wanted Roman to be the guy. But yeah, I don't think you have it happen twice. Now it's not the guy who broke the streak. It's just the first guy who did it, which isn't as impressive. The first guy to break the NBA scoring record has been long forgotten. So yeah, I don't agree with that. And I don't dislike Roman. It's just you needed Paul Heyman, his entire family, a bunch of people like Cena, Goldberg putting him over, and 9 years to get this guy over. That's the only reason I can't give him the Stone Cold treatment. Yeah, Ronnie Lott had Ryan Neese, nowhere near as good. I can't think of many examples, honestly. I guess Mahomes was better than his dad. It is. I picked WrestleMania. I picked it pretty well, but the main event swerved me. Super Bowl was obvious as heck. Now, I'm not saying it's always going to be that way, but we're 3-0 in the championships we've done on the channel, and we are, we're good with wrestling, but we got the main event wrong. Yeah, I'm going to watch it afterwards, Phoenix. I only like to see the what's going to happen to Jay and Jimmy. I have a feeling Jay's not. It's going to be left on a cliffhanger. I don't see Jay picking a side tonight. So, Steve, I'm sorry. I'm glad I can see you now. I'm hearing it's 50-50. My gut tells me it's like 80-20 on Denver. Oh yeah, you can feel free to you can put me on captions maybe. I don't know if that'll work. I talk kind of fast though, so it might not work. I have wrestling down to such a like science. I can watch it muted and kind of, especially if it's the Usos, see the reactions. 200 plus for Game 7. Are you saying if they make it to Game 7, they'll be around plus 200? That's what they would be. Yeah. I didn't know that. Are they really WWE intros? This is ridiculous. People think I'm kidding. They play Cena's music during the commercials. They play CM Punk's music during the commercials. Yeah, and now we have this. Just it's ridiculous. I don't know if he'll make a run. If anything, he'll return to put over Reigns. Hey, I'm the true head of the table, and then he's not going to take Reigns' belt. He's going to come back to put him over. So he might make like a run, but not as champ, in my opinion. Same way Austin came back, even though he won, he put over Kevin Owens. Yeah, he said, Brock didn't need it. He's like, but Vince said it was, he wanted to do it. Brock didn't really care, but Vince wanted it. So he's like, I do it was, he's Tim Duncan. I told, he's whatever I need to do, I'll do it. Right now, I'm going to say 49ers, Dolphins. But I really, I'm gonna have to think on it a lot more. I love Jimmy G for the Raiders. I think he might get some love. So it's gonna be interesting. Okay, I'll look into that. Is that the? I'm guessing that's a fight. I really don't watch much outside of the ones I cover, so I'm guessing Darius here is a fighter. Yeah, if he was like he played baseball too, so it's a different sport. But yeah, no Hall of Fame dad, Dorsett. Yeah, none that I can think of had a son that was just as good. I got Heat Shadow Ninja. Yeah, 1200. Well, they were 1200 to win the finals when they played Boston in Game 7. So they've been getting crazy odds for a while. Yeah, he just has to get it together, lose some weight, and again, I think that's not. I think that's all scripted. Zion not being well. I don't know. I have a feeling the Chiefs might just fall off this year and then get it going again. I don't know why. I feel like there's one year that other teams have to get some love before the Chiefs start running roughshod again. Yeah, Niners Dolphins makes sense to me. It's a nice script. I feel like. Yeah, so that's a good thing to look at, Graham. I look at that stuff all the time. You got to look at things of that nature. There's going to be people that do different parlays, just with the Canadians, and people bet emotionally all the time. Oh, they got Brock Lesnar. They're winning for sure. They're not losing with Brock coming out. That's interesting. So I brought up Jimmy Butler, Paul Heyman, Jimmy Uso, Brock. It is interesting how it all kind of seems to tie in. Yeah, Ramsey's a journeyman. He did win a championship, so maybe he doesn't win another one. But I could see him playing his old team. Oh no, I was thinking he was on the Rams or on the Niners. I'm sorry, but I think he'll still be. He's there for motivation. I feel like. Okay, Tyson. Yeah, that should be interesting. NFC South. I'm going to go with the. I'll say they give it to the Panthers. I think it's going to be another horrible year. And yeah, I think Pat might get booted early. Brett, he had an amazing theme. Yeah, I think Austin's the best. But I like Brett's. It's one of my top fives. He's also one of my top five wrestlers. Saints with Carr, it's a possibility. I just feel like they could have done stuff with them sooner. I think Carr's been, if he was going to do something, I think it would have been with the Raiders. Yeah, Tua. I like Tua a lot this year. Yeah, it's in Vegas. That was the only reason I'm not loving them as much. Are they going to have the team at home win 3 out of 4 years? That'd be pretty insane if they did. So they might. That's what I think. Triple double. Murray does terrible, and the Heat win. Those are my three big predictions. And there's a fight. Yeah, Pillar. And I don't think it's a coincidence. You have all these people moving to Florida, and now the team's doing well. It's just pretty interesting. So, and you have, obviously campaign cycles going on, things of that nature. Yeah, they're definitely going to make a playoff run. I don't see the Dolphins missing the playoffs. Yeah, I could see that makes sense. I think the Rams had way more of a draw factor though than the Saints do. That's the only problem. Now maybe they get a guy or two, but I just don't think it's quite the same. But it's kind of similar. Yeah, Watson kind of paid his penance. I could see them giving the Browns something. Don't sleep on the Ravens either. Maybe they want people thinking. Yeah, like even the casual public might think, yeah, they got OBJ, but they got a guy who doesn't want to be there. So it would be interesting. Yeah, they do. They get championship belts from the WWE when they win, and they treat them with higher esteem than they treat their actual titles. That's what I think it is. Eat Golden Eagle. I think it's like players. These college players are part of a bloodline. WWE again, bloodline, and that's why they're drafted where they are. That's why they play as long as they do, and they're all. I feel like tied in some way or another. And yeah, a lot of them might be out of wedlock. So again, elite people in top positions do some, things that they want to be not to be forgettable. So I could definitely see that happening. It makes sense to me. I know a lot of people are on Pickett, and he might do something. I think again they're trying to make it. This is why they added a playoff seed. I think they're trying to make it where almost every team is like, oh, this is a pretty good team that could make a run, and they're kind of getting there now. Where even a bad team, people never looked at the Browns and was like, oh, this team, they could actually make a run. Now people are saying that. People are saying it about the Jets, the Saints, just teams that have always been bottom dwellers. Now the Saints had that run, of course, but like people really can see anybody making a run, and I think that's what they want. Detroit, yeah, and Vegas. Vegas has their odds really good. I was thinking the Bears because they seem to like quarterbacks that can run and make it fun. So I thought maybe Fields has a killer year, but we'll have to see. Yeah, Mahomes, he had the WWE belt. He was happy to have it. Giannis had it. It's essentially, again, they treat it with higher esteem than their actual rings, which I always found interesting. Oh, I didn't know that. And it's funny because you think they would talk about it. It's like how they never talk about how Damian Lee and Steph Curry are brother-in-law, and they're always playing each other. You'd think that might be a conflict of interest, but they never talk about it. They could both win. That's my official prediction. As I said many of times, I believe in the Heat more than I do the Panthers, but I do think that they're both going to win. And it's up to you guys. I figured like last time I can. Last time I went a little bit into the game, and then I don't know. I feel like people missed the game, so I figured we could do this until we could do it until the game starts. We could do it to the first quarter. Just let me know what you guys want. I figured your game probably started in like 20, 30 minutes, so that should be pretty good timing. I'm telling you, Arson, you can't tell me that Mahomes in the Super Bowl looked like he had an injured ankle, and then look at Cody selling that injury, which is a real injury. That's why he's selling it. And it's like, okay, this is night and day. This guy is conveniently limping, and then he's fine. This guy, all match, he before the match, after the match, he's acting the exact same way. And Cody didn't have to have that match. Like theoretically, Mahomes is doing this for a Super Bowl. Cody Rhodes is doing it, for fans. The match can be rescheduled. That's why I have more respect for the wrestlers. That was a grueling match to watch, and knowing he was actually injured. It's possible they're an expansion team. I was going over. I think it's interesting. Both the teams again in the finals are gold. Uh, Now I do like the theory presented to me. What burns gold? How do you smelt gold? I find that very interesting. Yeah, they got Dame being tossed around everywhere. I think he's going to stay in Portland. That's just my opinion. I think it sounds appealing. Oh, Boston, LA, Dallas if Kyrie leaves, whatever. But I think he's actually just going to stay with Portland. I don't know why. So maybe Benil's the next guy you're saying because he's got the same team. Very possible. I don't know exactly how fighting works. Like how if the teams throw it, if the teams are in it together. I know a lot of people told me they believe fighting is mostly real. Yeah, we all did VFX, and honestly, like for me, it just took a couple things. I did a video on the Warriors championship and the numbers that came up, the 413s, and I'm not even into gematria, but it came up so much to the point where they won with a 41.3% shooting, and it just came up so much. And then I remember Steve Kerr got his 400th win against the Celtics, and then they beat them in a four-game series. It was so many of the same exact numbers. I looked into it, and I had already suspected it because of the Magnus things I had seen and things of that nature. So at that point, it basically confirmed it for me. And then I look back at the Super Bowls and I'm like, okay, there's no way that Tyree catch. Let's be honest. How does that happen on Rodney Harrison? And who else was it? Like Ty Law or somebody? Like it just doesn't happen. There's just no way. Yeah, are you talking about Joker? Yeah, so I think Joker is definitely going to get into foul trouble at least one of the games in this series. And thank you to whoever told me to take the Rays. I think it might have been Double P because I really wasn't sure. And they're like, the Rays look good. I'm not saying it's over, but it's looking pretty good. So congratulations. Someone else in here said they had the Rays earlier. But yeah, I think he's gonna get in. I think tonight might be the game he gets in foul trouble. To be honest, I think there's going to be two of them. Because we're probably going to see an overtime game. Let's not forget, it's the finals. We haven't seen one yet. To me, that makes sense. And yeah, I think we all kind of reached like the definite conclusion at different junctures VFX. But anyone that says, "Oh, I always knew it was rigged," they're lying. It's like watching a horror movie and being like, "Oh yeah, I knew this the first time I watched it." Like, no, like we thought it was real. We didn't think that they rigged it to this extent. We knew like, oh, what does Vegas know and things of that nature. But I think that was the extent of it. And then I sat back and I'm like, well, they can make a couple extra zeros and make it way more entertaining simply by doing the by rigging these games. I don't think it's going to be tonight, but yes, I think the Heat are going to have an overtime win. Probably game. I'll say game 6. Yeah, let me know, please, Arson, because I've been doing as you know, in Buy Me a Coffee, I've been doing our daily baseball picks, and I'm trying to finagle the best value for the adjusted line and the alt line because the value is too good, especially getting 3 cracks at it. So I want to find the best way to do it. Yeah, thanks, Stephen. I appreciate it. Anyone that brought up the raise to me, someone specifically told me. But yeah, anyone that liked the raise, I wasn't sure, and I'm like, okay, if enough people like a pick, then I like it. So that's another reason I made the Discord. If we have enough people that are coming to the same conclusion, hey, this game looks like a trap. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. I think so too. Usually, we're going to be right more than we're wrong. Angels. I just wonder. I wonder if it's one of those games where a Tony comes, Otani comes out, pitches a gem, and they lose like 2-0. They used to do that with Verlander. They used to. They all great pitchers. It seems like they do it with, and then they make the argument, oh well, they just don't give them the run support. And I don't think it's a coincidence, that they're not getting the run support. I think it's more the fact that okay, they got an ace going, no one's going to pick them. Yeah, I know Zach's been doing this for like a long time, and I brought this up multiple times because there's a lot of people on my channel that clown Zach. But what I always say is Zach's one of the very few channels that didn't attack my channel. So I know a lot of people have opinions on him like one way or another, and that's fine. That's their opinions. But yeah, I never like he never was. I had the main channels that cover the NBA and NFL being rigged. Two of them have left the sector, by the way, and they were just routinely either just tag me in videos saying how I'm an exploit, or they would just comment on my lives like just over and over and over and over, just personal jabs, nothing to do with my content. So yeah, Zach never gave me a problem, and he was one of the he could have been like everybody else, raided my Discord, but he never did. So whenever he's brought up to me, I'm like, listen, I can say honestly, I've never had one word with the guy. So the almost every other channel in the sector, if you tell me who they are, I can tell you an experience with them. So not that I want to, but it just he didn't do that I know of. So I always respected that because some of these channels really like to take the low road. It was something as simple as we're outperforming their live video head to head. So they're not happy with that. So they're going to come to my live video and just, do everything they can to try and bring my positive energy down. And it's sad, but that's what people do. Oh, good call. I remember you calling the A's. I think you said something about the A's. Zach and Rambo. I'm not sure who Rambo is. The people I know of, they basically did the breakdown videos. They showed people the obvious and then tried to take credit for being, the Nostradamus. And, that's fine. The breakdown videos, I think they're fun, but they become stale. But those guys, the breakdown goons, they just came after me. Like they teamed up literally and did live videos just to compete with mine. Like they became more obsessed with my channel than their own. And I believe that's why 2 of the 3 are now out of the sector, and the third one is hanging on by a pube. If this guy's like in the middle of the Atlantic with a freaking a tiny piece of bamboo for life support. Because if you look at the analytics, we flipped them all. And again, that's not to be braggadocious. That's just what happens when you spend more time attacking another channel and having an ego and than you do just trying to have fun and do what you're saying you're supposed to be doing. Having fun, talking about the rig league, and most importantly, helping people. And I do my best to help people. Yeah, I mean, these guys are toxic, man. You should know who I'm talking. Like, again, some of them aren't even in the sector anymore, so I'm not sure, what what they're talking about now. But they just want it to be about them, and that was never my intention. I never really considered myself a YouTuber. And then suddenly we just started growing, and it's like, okay, well, now I kind of have to do so many videos and things, which is cool. I enjoy it. But for me, it was never about like, being a YouTuber. For some of these other guys, they're failed rappers, they're failed comics, they're failed sports stars, whatever you want to call it. So now all of a sudden they want to, be YouTubers. What's fixed? Are you talking about YouTube? We have controlled opposition. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, or if you're talking about something somebody commented. But yes, from my experience, every channel in the sector almost has been controlled opposition. I know that sounds bad, but the ones I've encountered, like I said, Zach never gave me a problem. There's other people in the sector who never gave me a problem, but the main ones, they all just either wanted to attack this channel and ones like it, and I just noticed that they didn't seem to believe what they were talking about. They were just saying it because it was a hot trigger topic. WWE, UFC, yeah, they merged. So yeah, people should really consider now that UFC might be fixed when they merged with WWE, and the company, the chairman of the company, is none other than Vince McMahon. And now him and Dana White are partners. I mean, people have to look at that. Yeah, Endeavor. Yeah, they got WWE owns like 49%, Endeavor owns 51%, and WWE and UFC fall under that, as they keep calling it. There's a term they keep calling it, like uh, I have hot pocket. It's a weird term. I'll think of it in a minute. But it's called a flywheel. I don't know why I thought hot pocket. Yeah, it's called a flywheel, and Endeavor's the flywheel. All right, yeah. So we can wrap this up in 14 minutes. That'll be about an hour and a half, which is cool. My back will thank me later. What happens is, freaking back starts locking up after a couple hours, but I don't mind. Yeah, crypto, like they just these channels just hated my guts. Like and to the point where I'm like, okay, they're not doing this because they want views, or because we're taking their audience. They're doing this because they're being told to do this. Like that was all I could take away from it. I'm talking every single day these individuals dedicated time just to attacking us. It was insane. Oh yeah, does it only have 27? I'm showing 51s. Oh, you're talking about the likes. Yeah. Maybe it's a sign, man. I always look for signs in the universe. We got 51. Hopefully that doesn't mean 15 is going to do good. Can somebody leave? No, I'm just kidding. I like the Reds too. I think nobody's, more people are going to be on. Aren't they playing the Cardinals? Someone actually left. I was just kidding. Uh, I don't know if someone's playing the. I think it's the Cardinals and the Reds, and I think for whatever reason, the to me the line looked weird too. I know a bunch of people on the Discord were saying it, so I agree, Steven. I think it's going to be. I think Reds probably take it. Yeah, that's a good parlay in my opinion. I think Heat in 7. Yeah, we got shut down. I can't make this up. Yes, he will get 50. I think in game 6, and we got shut down on Christmas. I had like 996 subscribers, so I check it. I'm checking in to answer all the comments. That's the first thing I do every night, and it's like you can't view your account. I'm like, okay. So I go to my email, and it's the most vague email. If you watch the first video that I did on this channel, you'll see the email. It's like, sorry to tell you this, but you've been shut down. Possible reasons are, and it just has possible spam. It doesn't show any copyright strikes because we didn't have any. It's just me talking and doing screen share. There is nothing they could say. There was. I appealed it immediately. I wrote like 3 emails, but within 3 days, I'm just like, they're not going to give me my account back. I'm just going to start a new one, and we're doing better despite having. We had again. We were almost at 1,000. We're doing better analytically with basketball, which is actually the second most searched for topic, than we were doing with football. So we're going to go nuts. The channel's going to go nuts unless we get shut down. Oh, it's all right. I made the mistake of monetizing. So I'm like, okay, YouTube can pay me because I never wanted to do one of those Patreon type things. I'm just like, yeah, YouTube can pay me. And I think that what happens is once you hit 1,000, then a human reviews the account. So this time I'm not applying. So I think I'm going to completely avoid that, and I don't think we'll get shut down this time. Oh, thanks, crypto. I appreciate it. Yeah, actually, you should like my Twitter because I only talk about crypto and NFTs on Twitter. So uh, because I think it's just the best place to find out about it. So I appreciate the support, man. And I'm sorry you guys were sad. Trust me, I was not happy to wake up and see the email. This was like 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. We had just got everything rolling, and then I had to go ahead and okay, here's what I have for the divisional finals. All these new people don't know who I am. I don't have the credibility because my channel was shut down, and I had an entire it was called the rig log of every pick we ever made. We were up over 100 units, and when I started this channel, I couldn't prove it. I had deleted the videos after I did them because I didn't want the data. So now I didn't delete my videos. I got a Rumble, which if we get shut down again, I can move to. But yeah, I just said screw it. I'm going to keep grinding while these other idiot channels, celebrate. And my goal was to run them all out of the sector, actually. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure if that's good, Dan. The announcers will either be, it seems like, they'll be right half the time and wrong half the time. So I just have, all I can say is let's just hope this is the time they're right. It is weird they all would pick him because all the shows I watch, the only ones picking them are like Perkins, Nick Wright, and I think maybe Stephen A. So who are these announcers that are suddenly picking them? Oh, thanks, Creaky. Yeah, he was like Creaky was like, "Gosh, you were my first ever comment. I believe my first ever comment. That I did a video on Kobe, a series on Kobe, and Creaky could probably attest to it. There was a lot of very interesting numbers that lined up with Kobe. The problem is now I can't even do that video because I don't want to risk any kind of copyright, and I obviously a lot of it is like Kobe when he's on the court, and obviously for that I have to show, time, video footage of him on the court. But it was pretty insane. Just no, again, we got no copyright claims, no strikes, no warnings, and then we just got shut down. And yeah, it was once we got into the Vegas system, Stephen. That's why I think it was because of that. It's also coincided with when these other channels started attacking us. For the first like 3, 4 months we were around, just talking about Kobe, talking about why the Warriors won, we weren't getting any resistance. The second we started offering the picks and doing I haven't done it in a while on YouTube, but doing my rig system, uh, I think the last one I did was like a month and a half ago. But basically every day doing the picks, unit amounts, and people were winning as a result. We got shut. That's when everyone started attacking us. Once we started going into the Vegas sector, so I do think it had something to do with Vegas. That's good to see. I think Miami's going to do good. I think Murray's going to lay an egg tonight. I keep saying it, so it might age terribly. I just think he's going to have just an awful performance. They might blame the hand. They might say, "Oh, well, he had a really good performance, so he was due to have a bad performance." I'm not sure the reason that it's going to be. I just think he's going to do terrible tonight. I really do. But yeah, I think I'm going to in a couple minutes if you guys want. I see if we have any last questions, and then I'm going to watch the game, get something to eat. I just want to make sure we don't have anybody that got missed. Nuggets and 6. Yeah, a lot of people have that. So Stephen A has the Nuggets. I thought somebody else had the Heat, so I can't. I trying to think who it might be. Murray for 20. I wouldn't be surprised if he got like 16 on like 5 of 15 shooting or something like that. Yeah, I think Patreon. I think what happens is you reach a certain level, and then you're on a need to know basis. And I think the players that get angry, the younger players, they probably know, well, this is way above my pay grade, and I can't come out about it. So I think they have to sign NDAs, and then I think if they come out, bad things happen. Yeah, Stephen A. is wrong a lot. No, thank you, VFX. I appreciate you coming by and giving the channel a chance. And I'll probably go live for Game 5 too. So, that way we could talk longer. I should have. I like last time. I figured we'd go talk about the game as it was going on, but then it's kind of counterintuitive. And there's not like we were down 15, and then all I could say is, well, I think we're going to come back and win. And people are like, okay, why? And I'm like, well, there's not much So while the game's going on, there's not much I can go into, but beforehand, I feel like we could talk about the theories and stuff. Oh, sure. I mean, Greg, I don't like to give them the liberty, but sure. Lobo, Pat Truthner, D. Cruz, Jay Ross. That's just, off the top of my head. Those are the ones that actively, three of the four teamed up. The second we went live and they decided to go live against us. Jake the asshole came into my Discord, took my picks, thanked me in a comment, and then put on his community, hey, everyone that tailed me and tailed my picks, congratulations, we killed it. So there's five guys. I don't know if you want me to keep naming them, but I'm telling you, it's a cesspool. It's not just a couple offenders. So that's why I was serious when I said Zach Hubbard is one of the very few who did not come after me. He kept to himself, and all these other guys, they decided to raid the Discord. They decided to make videos tagging me in them, going after each other, but then putting me in the middle of it when I never even talked to them. They're the ones that were writing stuff in my live comments, all these different things, mocking autism. So, stealing picks, all that stuff. So, that's all the people. Why would I defend the guy that you're saying is 100% a shill? So, Jake, I didn't say he made a video. I can show. If you want to watch a video, it's like one of my first 5 or 6 videos that I did in this playlist. It specifically shows Jake saying, thank you for the picks. It shows him joining my Discord. And then it shows him after that, he goes on to thank people for his picks. So, and then he deleted his comments, but I got the receipts. Pat, Lobo, and Cruz, I messaged Lobo. Pat made about 5 videos about me. I don't know what you mean about one video. It just sounds like you're defending these guys because, again, I have the receipts. So if you, again, they don't need my attention now. They ran themselves out of the sector. But just look at the fact that they changed their names and they changed their sectors after failing. And maybe you'll realize that these guys don't care about you, Greg from Texas. But yeah, they're shills. You could just tell. You don't go on someone's live stream every time they're doing a live stream just to attack them when you have a channel of your own. If you're not a shill or controlled opposition. So Greg from Texas again. I don't know how you think you know more about my channel or these guys than yourself. But yeah, I just named 5 people and told you exactly what they did. And yeah, Lobo never made a video about me. He does 20-second shorts of obvious sound bites. So what Lobo did is he teamed up with Pat. All right, so here's a chronology of events. 4 guys that had a stranglehold on the industry are doing videos daily. We come around. We start taking off. These 4 people all attack me in one way or another or hack my Discord. After this happens, we start going up. After we get shut down, we're going up. They start going down. Then they leave and they say it's not because of sports being rigged. One guy's talking about how to get girls now. One guy's talking about the government. And one guy's showing poker vlogs. So you can do with that what you will, Greg, from Texas. But I just laid out exactly what happened, how it happened, and why it happened. People don't care to see them being toxic, attacking our channel. People don't want to see their poker vlogs. They saw a high traffic algorithm. They tried to take advantage of it. And when people left their channel, they got mad. So it's as simple as that. And yeah, a lot of people do pick both sides. These guys never picked guys. They just showed breakdowns of obvious rigged plays and said, look, it's rigged. I'm a genius. And people got tired of it. And they got tired of them. Again, they're tagging me. They're tagging other channels in the, oh, let's have boxing matches. Nobody wants to see that. Again, Greg from Texas, you can think whatever you want. Again, the events are we came onto the scene and they got Thanos snapped. So you can do what you want with that. And this is after a year of them consecutively doing sports rigged videos. So you can do what you want with that. But I see the analytics. It shows me who's watching my channel and who's watching other channels. And when I see the analytics showing me that, and then I see them leave, then I think he has a channel, VFX. Honestly, he might be one of these guys. Honestly, this is what happens a lot or just somebody that really shills for these channels, because he's giving a lot of information that somebody that just comments on videos should not understand. Like he's like, oh, this guy did this guy put this one out, this guy did this. So what are you saying now? Yeah, Jake got a lot of videos. Jake's doing great. This is a guy with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Look what he was doing a year ago, and now look at all of them, and look at our channel. Again, it's like a stock. It's just going like this. So I'm not saying we just flip them all. But all I'm saying is, you look at Cruz, who was beating us. You look at Pat, who was beating us. You look at Lobo, who was destroying us. And now we're even with Lobo. And I'll tell you, Jake is next, since you seem to have a fascination for these guys. I don't know why you like the only scoundrels in the sector. It's kind of weird. You call out Zach, who never gave us a problem. And now you're defending these guys. But, I don't have a moderator. But yeah, I mean, nobody really seems to care what you have to say, Greg, but I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, Greg is he's just going to defend these guys because I think he's taking it personal that we knocked his maybe he really likes Pat or something, and he's just mad that I'm telling the truth. That's what it is. These guys they're stale, they're toxic. They came after me whether Greg from Texas believes it or not. So it's just it is what it is. Because well, Zach, again, I'm not going to know about a guy who didn't go out of his way to tag me, who didn't attack me, who didn't make videos about me. I don't have time to watch other videos. What I do have time to do is, oh, I'm being tagged repeatedly. Let me check this guy out. So yeah, I did happen to notice that these other individuals that were tagging me, teaming up against me, going live the second we went live, only to be outperformed while they're charging money and we're not. I noticed these analytics shift, and it's pretty obvious. Jake the asshole, that's his name. I'm not making fun of him. He again took my picks, thanked me for them, and then put them out as his own. So you could say, yeah, he's getting more views. That's great. I like to have a moral compass. Again, I don't know. I don't know enough about Zach to agree or disagree with you. He's never personally done anything to me. So just because you don't give a shit that these other guys mocked my autism, mocked my dog dying on my live stream, just because you don't give a shit doesn't mean I don't. And yeah, it's game time. We're definitely going to. I think we're going to do good tonight. I think Gematria is double coded is the only problem. So what we have to run into is it can go both ways, and that's why I try and stick to the narrative. So my biggest thing I can take away from this, again, I think Murray has a bad game. I think Jimmy does good, and I think the role players are all going to hit their threes. I think Bam's going to do good, and things of that nature. So I'm leaning the under. If you could bet the live over under, I do like the under, just because it makes sense to me. But yeah, I always appreciate everybody that comes by. Dave, all you guys, it just makes it awesome. Oh, does he? Okay, yeah. I know a lot of people are on the Nuggets. Yeah, so he didn't have a wrap the last couple games. He was holding it, but he didn't have the wrap. So I don't know why. I just have a feeling the Heat are going to tie it up 2-2. I've been feeling that way. I thought it was going to go Denver, Miami, Miami, Denver. But now I think it's going to go Denver, obviously Miami, Denver, Miami. Oh, he did get the first bucket again. That's interesting. Yeah, it just, again, because it happens once doesn't mean it might not happen again. 600. I agree. If they're getting 600 right now, that's pretty good odds in my opinion. Oh, nice. I think it will happen. So let's hope I was right. I think we're going to get an ejection. Do they count a six fouls as an ejection? I'm curious. They probably don't, but I have a feeling we're going to get an ejection. I don't know why. I could see an elbow. I can see a shove. I could see something to that extent because of this type of the way they're forcing this finals. Yeah, I think Murray has a terrible game. Like I said, something like 18 points on 5 of 15 shooting, maybe even like 16 points, and I think he's just not the difference. Yeah, if they're showing a prop they never saw, that's pretty interesting. So I'm not going to do a stream after the game. What I like to do after the games, because I can go into the box scores and things like that. I will be doing a video though. So just like my standard videos, I'm going to do a regular video after the game. And again, if I'm wrong, I'm going to admit it. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, actually 13. It's Jimmy's 13th year, 3-1. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to explain. All right, I was wrong, but I don't anticipate that. I think we're going to do good. That's just my opinion. I think we're going to tie it up 2-2, and we'll be going into what I think happens in Game 5 regardless. But yeah, I want to make sure anyone doesn't. Nice. I Most of it was just helping my sister, to be honest. But I always like going because there's so much to do. You got food trucks everywhere. You have just so many different outlets and different places. So I didn't get to do a ton of things. But every time I do go there, I try and at least go to a nice restaurant. They got a Gordon's Burgers there, which is pretty cool. He's got some good stuff. Uh, but yeah, I'll definitely have that out tonight or first thing in the morning. VFX. I try and do it close to the game because I understand. As a wrestling fan, I understand. I get done watching the wrestling and I want to see, more wrestling. So after the games, I know people like to see something, other people's take on it, insight, things of that nature. So I'd say probably around midnight, I'll have my video out. If not, it'll probably be first thing in the morning though. And yeah, I think like I said, under Murray does bad, and Heat might blow him out. To be honest, just my gut guess. But yeah, thank you guys all again. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Greg from Texas. Again, people that agree with me or don't agree with me, that's fine. But I do just want to, let you know that facts are facts. So you could dislike them, but you can't disagree with facts. So take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you guys soon.